Hello, Brave Awakened Ones. This is Veronica of Higher Realm Holistics, Lady V. Thank you, supporters, subscribers, and Patreons. Please share these videos with those who you think it might resonate with. If you're interested in any of my services, books, merch, t-shirts, webinars, sessions, and higher realm magic information and meditations, please visit higherrealmholistics.com. Awakened Ones, happy solstice again. Lady V here. Yes, I came back. I finished teaching. It was all right. A little nerve-wracking. Pediatrics is teaching advanced cardiac pediatric is a bit difficult. Pediatrics is always very difficult. Harder than adults. If anyone does peds out there, you know what I'm talking about, especially infants. It's hard, but I'll get there. I teach again in January, and God willing, I'll get my pediatric certification also. Any which ways, I wanted to do some clarifications and also expanding on what I said in my last video, okay? When it comes to generations and light workers, okay, because I noticed some people got snippy with the whole generation light worker thing. They obviously didn't hear clearly what I was saying, so I really want to clarify for the sake of everyone. And we're at this end point here, so I really want to give as much information as possible. It could be helpful. Again, take what resonates. If it doesn't resonate with you, it simply does not resonate with you. That's all. I'm not going to argue. It's just if it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, it does. That's all. Okay. Firstly, I'm not 55 years old. Okay. Obviously, it's a joke. It's the joke that my daughter runs around since she was a teen and like early, even in her tweens, she was doing it due to the coaxing of my ex-husband. I'm pointing like he's behind me or something. I don't know. Yeah, because everyone always thought I was her sister to this day, obviously. My daughter's 29, by the way. Yeah, she just turned 29. Yeah, she just turned 29. So my ex-husband told her to lie about my age. So she's been adding years to me to the point now. That's why I said apparently I'm 55 now, according to my daughter, because that's what she told her husband. I was 55. And I looked at him. He's like, I didn't think you were 55. I was like, what? I was like, okay, bro, how am I 55 if my older sister is 53? How does that make me 55? He's like, oh, and then my daughter comes out of the room. I said, oh, so I'm older than your aunt now? And she busted out laughing. I'm like, when are you going to stop doing that? Because she told me she did that. I found out she was doing that at her high school graduation parent and kid and student dinner. I was sitting with the other parents, and it was alphabetical order. And I remember coming in, I was sitting there and I had my scrubs on. I came in from work, always had my scrubs on. And the mother and the dad, there was two of them. There was six of us all together. They looked at me and they were like, you don't look like you're in your 40s. I was like, no, because I'm in my 30s. I'm like, oh, well, your daughter said you were in your 40s. I was like, well, I guess my daughter lied. And then when she came, I didn't even say it. One of the moms says, like, why'd you tell us your mom was in her 40s when she's in her 30s? And then my daughter's like, oh, because she says she's embarrassed. She gets embarrassed. I'm like, Dad, no, that's not me. That's you. So that's the joke. So apparently it's gotten to the point where I'm older than my older sister. Yeah, she's 53, 54, whatever. But yeah, that's the joke, okay? Any which ways. And the second thing to address is I did not say baby boomers are not light workers. I don't know where that came from. I did not say baby boomers are not light workers. So that's why I want to expand on this when it comes to the generational thing. I even have visual aid, because this is how my oversoul broke it down to me. So I want to break it down to you guys the same way my oversoul broke it down to me without the visual aid. Wait, this way, yeah. My oversoul did not give me visual aid when it broke it down to me. All right, here's the way society, quote unquote, breaks down the generations. Okay? So The greatest generation is the World War I generation, 1901 to 1924. Then the silent generation is 1924 to 1945. That's the World War II generation, right? Yeah, that's the World War II generation. Yes, yes, because this is very important. This generation, the World War II generation, the silent generation, the GI generation is extremely important and playing a very, very important part right now in the world as light workers on the dark side and on the white, the dark and the light side, service to self and service to others. This generation was a pivoting point. I can never say that word. One of those words I can't say. That was where the pivot happened, right here in this generation. I misspoke when I said the baby boomers had the worst and the toughest cleanup job. That's not what I meant. My bad. That was my bad. I meant the silent generation, this generation. The baby boomer generation is what my oversoul refers to as the hippie generation, 1946 to 1964. Generation X, my generation, 1965 to 76, which is also called the lost generation. The first generation to make less and have less than their parents and have less education than their parents, Generation X. The grunge generation, you know. Then you have the millennials, Generation Y, 77 to 95, and Generation Z, 1996 and onward. But my oversoul said, scratch that. Though these dates, the way my oversoul put it is different. Okay? No. Where the heck is it? I hope I didn't skip over it. This generation right here. This is not the baby boomer generation. I don't know why they have that caption under. This is not what baby boomers look like right now, okay? This generation, this is this is what is considered the silent generation right here. Is considered the silent generation, right? The generation of JFK. This is when they were at their prime, the generation of JFK, right? The silent generation, right? That's who, this is what they look like now, okay? And who's in this group? Trump. Now, the dates that my oversoul gave me for that generation, it goes up to, that generation goes up to 1947 or 48, and Trump is born in 1946. So the reason why we see all these older people in this generation, the JFK generation, if you want to call it, the World War II generation, they are the ones who have the cleanup job because it was their quote unquote sin, the World War II generation, that sold out humanity for the last time. They're the ones, that's where it all pivoted. Okay. They're supposed to be the final sellout. They could either, it was this timeline that happened right there at that generation. They made that decision. This is why we are where we are right now. There was a clear choice to make. This generation had a clear decision to make. To sell humanity down the river or to stand up and set us free from selling out our souls. But JFK, he got assassinated because he was trying to stop it. Okay? He was trying to stop the selling out of humanity. Okay? That is why that generation, this generation, has the toughest job. They have the toughest and the worst job. That's why Trump is president right now. That's what my oversoul said when I said, oh, I don't like Trump. This is before I knew about Q. This was years ago, before Q even showed its face. showed me. And I was like, of all people, Trump is supposed to be president? I was disgusted. This was back in 2012. I was like, oh, hell no. He's a scumbag. I grew up in Trump, New York. He's just one of those oligarchs. I even have on my blog, I did a whole thing about oligarchs and I had his picture in there. Okay. I was not a Trump fan. I did not like the man, but I was told, I said growing up, I said, his generation is what sold humanity out. Why would we want that as president when we're supposed to be trying to clean up their freaking mess from selling us out? It's like, that is exactly why he had to be president. That is exactly why you see Nancy Pelosi up there butting heads with him. Do you not see clearly those two sides? The light and the dark. They're the same age group. They're all from this age group. The ones who are on top of it doing the fight, right at the head of it all. They're all in this age group. This World War II generation, the JFK generation, they're the ones. They're the ones. Now comes the baby boomers. Okay? The hippie generation, as my oversoul refers to you guys as. The hippie generation. Now this hippie generation goes up until 1964. Okay? So let's do the math. To say when you start. 1964 plus 15, because it's a 15-year span that my oversoul. No, it's minus 15. Duh. Yeah, that's a 9. Yeah. Yeah, minus 15. What am I doing? 1964 minus 15, right? That is 1949. 1949 to 1964 are the baby boomers. I don't even think of them that way. I just think of them as the hippie generation. Okay? So that's 1949 to 1964 is the hippie generation. And you guys, the hippie generation, the baby boomers, your role as light workers, this is light worker roles I'm talking about. And my oversoul had to break it down for me. At the time, in 2012, I had no idea why it was broken down to me this way. It was broken down to me, I was just told because I had to know where I fit in. Okay, and you always know it's a Generation Xer, but I didn't know what role my generation of light workers, what our role was, what the deal was. And are there variation? Yes, but I'm talking majority, okay? So the majority of you hippie generation guys, your deal is actually to teach of the old ways, to teach you. That's why I said in the video I made earlier today, that's why I said you guys you just freaking started to, some of you just went into retirement and now you're picking up whole new careers, writing books. I mean, your life is about to, as a light worker, is about to really blast off big time. You guys have a big role to play because this was not contrived. This movement was not contrived. You could think of this as a SAW movement, a social justice movement. And your movement is going to come head to head with this shit. And God, it is shit. You're going to come head to head with this contrived culture war movement. Ugh. I can't look at it for too long. I just can't. I can't. It gives me a headache. I already got a headache from fasting. All right. So yeah, your movement, was also about feminism. Okay. But it was an organic grassroots movement, unlike this, which is funded. This is not organic. This is not grassroots. This is pushing agendas. You guys weren't about pushing anyone's political agendas. And also, you guys are also going to be teaching morals, literally, because that's going to be, that is needed so desperately right now for the younger generation. It's about teaching morals also, teaching about the importance of family. This is what your generation, the hippie love generation, this is what you guys are going to be doing. All right. Writing books about what a real grassroots movement is, what real feminism is all about, what, masculine identity, because this is when men were starting to embrace their feminine side, correct? See how it plays in? It's beautiful the way it plays in, isn't it? Okay. So then now you move to my generation. All right. These are my girls, Salt and Pepper. I wasn't really into hip hop, actually. I was actually a total punk girl, grunge. I will show you. I need to find some of my old high school pictures with my motorcycle jacket, side of my head shaved. I hung out at CBGB's. I listened, I saw the Beastie Boys when they were playing, used to hang out with the Beasties, even though they were older, I used to hang out with the Beastie Boys. All right. Salt and Pepper. These girls were actually in my sister's nursing class in New York. They were in my sister's nursing class and dropped out. She remembered. You remember they used to rap all the time in class. This is Salt and Pepper. Okay. This is what we used to look like. All right. And these are my boys, Tribe Called Quest, Queens, New York, also. Q-Tip, what a doll, sweet guy. Like I said, I did a couple of their videos. I was a backup dancer and everything. This guy's an absolute doll. Q-Tip. They're all sweet guys, but he's the one I used to hang out with. Really great guys. This is what my generation used to look like. All right. These are my peeps, my generation. Here we go. Actually, I look like I dated about two of them. This is, Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, this is Megadeth. This is what my generation used to look like. This was me because I was a little punk rocker. This was us. Well, he had hair back then. Now he does not. He shaved his head a while ago, but he had a long black hair back then. Okay. So this is how my people used to look. We were so anti that. There were some flashy ones because you have the glam rock people, and those were the poser metal kids that we didn't talk to. Okay. The Bon Jovis, the ones who were into the Bon Jovis and Poison. We don't talk to them. Okay. They didn't exist. We try to pretend. And this is basically what I look like, especially with the skateboard. This is what this is New York City. This is what I used to look like. This is how I walked around. Okay. So that's Generation X. And the deal with Generation X, what we're supposed to, our role is restoration. Okay. It is about restoring things. Now that with Generation X, and Generation X is from 1965 to 1980. That's the span of Generation X that I was giving, 65 to 80. And our deal is, our mission is, like I said, it can vary. It's about the rebuilding of Earth, the rebuilding of government, of the medical field, the rebuilding of the larger structures, as they say, entertainment. It's our job. Generation X and the JFK generation, we have the biggest amount of work to shoulder. JFK generation, they have the cleanup to do. They fucked up bad. So they have a lot of work, heavy work to do. Our job is cleaning up. Well, their job is the cleanup. Our job is the building up as Generation X. Okay? We're going to be the ones taking over the new government structure, which is going to look nothing like it looks now. It's going to be more localized, more community. Okay? And we're going to be the ones building the new, like each of the pillars, like entertainment is a huge pillar, medicine is a big pillar, food production's a big pillar, government's a big pillar, tech is a big pillar. It's like 5 pillars my oversoul showed me. And we're going to be the ones to build using the higher vibrating energies, okay, as Generation X. And also why we have such a Generation Z X has so much to shoulder is because Generation Y, the millennials, and Generation Z are our children. We're the generation who we're going to be the oldest generation still living on Earth to have children who we have to pass everything on to, the new world to. Okay? That is real. It's a lot of work. Now, this is Generation Z, the Generation Y, the millennials. Mind you, this is my generation, and this is what we're looking at now. Dear God. These are the millennials. It's pretty horrifying. Yeah, that is a gown. It's to me, I'm sorry. You got to remember, I grew up grunge. I grew up a little punk rocker. I grew up grunge. So this makes me cringe. And yes, I know in the 80s, they had that whole neon thing going. That was not me. I had nothing to do with it. I know nothing about it. I never owned anything neon. Okay? Get that clear. I was not part of that mess. I don't know anything about it. So this is what's going on now. This total bastardization of everything is what's going on with Generation Y. And no, I'm not blaming your generation. I know I'm going to get a cajillion one of you saying, oh, you're blaming us. Of course, it's our fault. I'm not saying that. Okay? It's part of agenda. It's manipulation. It's coming to the end of the road of the Kali Yuga. So everything, the inversion is fever pitch. They're throwing shit at the wall to see how it sticks. And it's to mess up things as much as possible for Generation Z. Okay? And Generation Z, this is why the breakdown that my oversoul gave me works out to a T. Generation Z is 1997 to 2012. Generation Z were the first ones born in the beginning of the end of the Kali Yuga. 2012. That's the first ones born. Generation Z. I'm not the first ones born. I'm sorry. The last ones born. The first ones born in Generation Z, 1997. The very last ones born of the old system were in Generation Z, 2012. Okay, and we say that again because I don't want 10 people. Please listen. 1997 to 2012. Generation Z is that one where the last one of them is born in 2012, experiencing the old world before the beginning of the end of the Kali Yuga, which is about to completely be over. And we're going to enter the Satara Yuga, okay? So this is it. Gen Z. And from 2013 onward, those are the brand new ones. Okay? Those are the ones who've entered this world and are going to come into their prime and had not really experienced 3D, who weren't completely immersed in hell like we were, up to Gen Z, up to 2012. Okay? So that's the breakdown of the generations. And I really like the way my oversoul broke it down because it ended up bam right on it. The end of Gen Z was 2012. It just lined up so perfectly. Let me stop looking at this because it makes me cringe. Okay, and it says 1996, but my oversoul says 1997 because it goes from 97 to 2012. Okay, for Gen Z. And like I said, 2013 onward till now, those are the fresh souls. Okay, who when they come into Gaia, Earth, whatever, Tara, whatever you want to call Earth now, are never going to have to experience 3D. Okay. They're not going to grow up, come of age in that 3D system. Alrighty. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope I broke it down really good. I think I did. I have such a headache from not eating. I can't even tell you. It's pounding. I might have to eat a piece of fruit because it hurts so bad. And I have the webinar to do later today, right? Okay, so that's the breakdown of the generations. And I also saw some people freaking out saying that, oh, you know, we're one, so there's no leaving anybody behind. Oh my God, this is not the channel for you. And if you're asking me, what are the steps? This is not the channel for you, baby. It's just too late for that. You know, I'm here talking to people who are in the front line. Okay, and if you're panicking over me saying, you know, we're about to step through those gates, the Yuga gates are flinging open for us to come through. Yeah, somebody has to go first to pave the way. What do you not start? And no, and I never said we're leaving the earth. We're still here. Everything's going to still look the same come January 1st. I never said that either. People just aren't listening. If you don't have the ears to hear, that's fine. Come back later. Maybe you will. You know, that's all I could say. I'm not going to sit there and explain a whole bunch of things because honestly, I'm tired. I've been doing this for a while. I've put 110% into it, and you know, it's too late in the game for me to be explaining that because I'm here talking to, you know, light warriors. All right, that's my gig. Light worker, Sherpa, forerunner. All right, second waivers. That's what I'm talking. Second, you know, I'm talking to third, second waivers. You know, if you're just waking up now, my channel's not the right channel for you, you know, and that's fine. That's fine. Come back later. Some stuff might make sense to you. Alrighty. So Lady V out. Okay. I will see some of you guys later this evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And happy solstice again. We got this victory, right? We got this.